All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the September 17th, 2025 meeting of the Parks Advisory Committee. We're going to go ahead and start out with roll call from Jonah.
All right, welcome everybody. Frank Stevens.
Here.
Shelley Reynolds.
Here.
Tristan Jones.
Here.
Sherry Winters.
Here.
Robbie Cantrell.
Here.
Jim Hill.
Present.
Woodrow Terrell. May be coming later. Tiffany Long.
Here.
Victoria Rizzo. Here. And Sanford Nax, our alternate, is here in the room. Thank you, Sanford.
All right, well, we'll move to item number 2 on the agenda. Review and approve May 21st, June 18th, and July 16th, 2025 meeting minutes. Do we want to start with May? Does anybody have any corrections from May? I know that we got some corrections from Paul, and those have been forwarded. Do we want to share them, or do we just want to, they were mostly just spelling corrections, weren't they?
I mean, yeah, I think that it's up to you as
Thank
chair,
you.
but I think that they have been sent to Aaliyah for, addition to the record, so.
Thank you so much, Paul, for doing that. We appreciate it. So I would, what is it?
I would make the motion. Do you want to accept? Anyone have any comments
Are there any comments about the May meeting minutes?
online as well?
All right, I would accept a motion.
I got one more.
Oh, we're gonna let one more person in?
Okay, so sorry to interrupt. I was just letting Tanny into the room. Welcome, Tanny. So you're saying a motion to approve the May 21st
Yep,
minutes?
I would accept a motion for the May 21st meeting minutes.
Second.
This is Shelley. I move that we accept the May 21st, 2025 minutes as written.
And you seconded it, right?
Did.
Frank seconded. Shelley moved to approve them. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, we will move on to June 18th meeting minutes. Does anybody want to say anything about any comments about the June 18th meeting minutes other than the stuff that was sent to us by Paul? Anybody online?
Tiffany, this is Paul Wilcox, Troutdale.
Great, go ahead.
I had a question. There wasn't a typo on page 4. Woodrow isn't there apparently, but just toward the second paragraph from the bottom refers to animal park rest areas. I didn't know what was meant by that.
That's a good question.
Well, we can hold off on this one until maybe he'll show up. I don't know. Or we could just ask him later, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, other than that, as you said, the rest were pretty much typos.
Wait, what's his problem with that paragraph? That second
He's just
paragraph?
curious about it. He didn't remember it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Woodrow wanted to honor those, any parts or pieces. Is that what we're talking about from the old levy stuff?
What's the next paragraph? Regarding animal park rest areas.
That seems like a transcription error to me. It seems out of context. So, yeah.
Do you remember it? Because it's got you, do you see that, Frank?
I think it's just yeah, I think that maybe the recording was not clear and there's a missing piece of information right there.
Yeah. Yeah. More like a typo.
All right, Paul, we're unclear on that. We think it was a typo. For now, we'll just move forward with it. We can confirm that with Woodrow later. Does anybody want to
Move
move?
we approve June 18 meeting minutes.
All right, that was Jim approving and Frank seconding. All in favor?
Aye.
They are approved. July 16th meeting minutes. Any comments, concerns, questions? Online, do we have any comments, concerns, or questions?
Although, excuse me, Shelby, if it's Shelby, I said Tanny, but I just saw the last name, so excuse me.
All right, does anybody want to?
I make a motion to approve the July 16th minutes.
Sherry, a second.
We have a motion from Victoria and a second from Sherry. All in favor? Aye. The July 16th meeting minutes are approved. We will move on to item number 3, communication from staff. That would be Jonah.
Yes, hello, I'm Jonah Jacobson, Park Superintendent, representing staff tonight. Welcome, everybody. It's good to see you again after a summer break. So, yeah, a lot going on. We've been busy out there in parks over the summer. Yeah, certainly parks workers have been quite busy with the ongoing sanitation and maintenance demands across Troutdale's public spaces, keeping them safe and clean and beautiful throughout the highest usage months of the year. And while our current fiscal year budget does not include many large-scale additions or improvements to parks, Parks and Facilities employees have been working really hard on making some long overdue smaller improvements and replacements to pieces of infrastructure and amenities across the city. And there have been some large-scale facilities projects in the last 2 months, such as a major retrofit of the Sugar Pine sanitary plumbing lines and a replacement of 2 of the roofs at the new City Hall property on Buxton, which if you've driven past it, you'll see 2 brand new roofs. Oh, welcome, Woodrow.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
No, it's okay. For the record, Woodrow Terrell is now here, so we got a full house. And so in any case, yeah, there's been some facilities projects going on, and I'm happy to provide more information on these to anybody after the meeting, if anybody's interested. But for now, we can get back to parks. And let me have a few photos of some stuff we've been working on here. I just want to, if you just forgive me for a moment, I'm going to get this onto Zoom so everybody can see. Sorry. Okay. So, here you can see brand new water rescue ramp that Parks and Facilities workers built back in the end of July to assist our partners at the AMR lifeguard booth there at Glen Auto Beach. The old one was deteriorating and causing them a lot of splinters on their feet and stuff, so this is something that we worked on to support their mission down there in water safety. And also towards the end of July, our new Flowbird/Arrive payment kiosk was installed at Glen Auto Park. And this has provided park users, non-Troutdale resident park users, with another convenient way to utilize the new payment system. So yeah, and I actually have just a revenue sheet here from today. To just show you what the paid parking system at Glen Auto is doing. And just a reminder, we have only been doing collections on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So that's only 3 days a week through the busiest times. There's a lot of info on the sheet. Really, the most important thing to look at here is probably this total net revenue number right here, which is $13,655. So it's generating some income on the weekends. It's certainly it's not going to pay for all of parks, but it is it's proving to be a much needed, helpful sort of little stimulus for us. And so I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for City Council earmarking the funds for the Parks Division. And if you wouldn't mind just saving your questions for the end, Woodrow, I can come back to that. And we've also been continuing the Beaver Creek Canyon Boardwalk replacement down in the bottom of the canyon. And this first picture is at the beginning of the summer and just kind of shows the condition of the boardwalk after many years of being weathered and not really kept up. I decided earlier this year that this was a hazard that needed to be remedied or decommissioned, one of the two. So we did have an approved $40,000 allocation for Beaver Creek Canyon repairs. I initially had been planning on, if you remember, using the Trailkeepers of Oregon for this project, and then decided that we, for lack of a lot of other projects this fiscal year, I thought that we could do it in-house. And so far, it's working out splendidly, and we've replaced 4 12-foot sections of boardwalk so far, which is about a third of the boardwalk, and we're probably going to stop for the season at this point and pick it up again in the spring. But our total materials cost is around $6,000. So I predict that we're probably going to be able to complete this for about half of that $40,000 allocation.
That's good.
Okay, go ahead, Woodrow. What you got?
I'm sorry, did you?
It's okay. It's okay. No.
So just a couple notes. On the previous page where you showed the financial breakdown, I saw 2 entries I had questions about. One was passport/parking, and the other one just said passport. What's the difference?
I don't really know. It's kind of chopped up in a few different ways. It has to do with basically the points of payment. There's a few different ones. There's I think what you're seeing there is the app versus the website, right? So it's and in the financial reports from that, it breaks it down into the various points of payment. So that's probably what you're seeing. But
Only because we're talking about that. What was the initial outlay of money for this?
I'd have to go back and see. I don't have that memorized. I could open the budget book here and find out for you. I believe it was $15,000. So we're getting close to breaking even on it. I mean, that does not include what we're paying OPS for enforcement. So.
Okay.
Or monitoring, I would say.
Okay.
Awesome. And then the second question I had was about the Beaver Creek. I saw the blocks that the old system was, the old Are we changing that? Or is it just going back on concrete blocks again? Or are we putting footers and all that?
No, there's footings underneath it now and beams, yeah. So it's more like post and beam construction now.
So it should last a lot longer then.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it's up off of the ground, not buried in the mud. That being said, though, the hillside comes down every year. The cobbles in Beaver Creek, as you know, it will eventually be covered in stones and mud again.
Is the height the same height, or is it up a little higher?
It's a little higher now.
Seems like. All right, cool. Thank you.
Exactly, but
Excellent job. Thank you.
yeah, of course. Yeah. Any other questions?
No.
Yeah, go for it.
Related to the parking, how have the residents been responding to?
So far, overwhelmingly positively, I would say. I mean, I would say I haven't had for all of the concern about it on the front end, there's actually been remarkably few complaints or incidents around it. It's actually been running incredibly smoothly so far.
They seem to be applying for their exemptions.
They absolutely are. Yeah. So far, I was just talking to Alita about this the other day. So far, over 400 Troutdale residents have applied for exemptions in Glen. Sure, why not? Yeah.
What are the
State
exemptions?
your name, please, for the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please state your name for the record.
I'm Marianne Gray.
Okay, do you live in Troutdale, Marianne?
I do.
Okay, well, you can go to the city website and fill out a form to apply for an exemption to paid parking in Glen Auto Park.
Oh, okay.
Yep. You
So
don't have to pay
local
parking.
residents?
People who live in Troutdale city limits don't have to pay.
Okay.
You can also walk into the clerk's office too, can't
You
you?
can fill it out at City Hall.
And they're fun people, they're very friendly and nice, and there's lots of materials about all the cool things that are going on in Troutdale too, so I would recommend that.
I believe you can register 2 license plates for your household.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
So the Canyon Boardwalk looks great. I'm curious, if you have, I don't know if we talked about the allocated money for that versus what you spent, but is there any plans to do the same thing eventually in the Bellingham Greenway? Because that one is in sore need. It's got a couple of spots that your foot could actually go through on that one when you get down there.
Yeah, that's something that, well, that we should take care of and just at the very least go put some plywood over the really bad spots like, you know, ASAP. So yeah, I'm gonna make a note of that.
Just as after you go down the stairs, that boardwalk area is over swamp. And so, yeah, there's at least one spot that's really bad on that one. It's a big open hole. But it's the same type of boardwalk.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess technically Bellingham Greenway is like, well, it follows Beaver Creek is a different greenway. So the current allocation for $40,000 that we have is, says Beaver Creek on it. So I am not sure if I could use that money for that one.
Doesn't the creek run through the Bellingham Greenway?
It does. I think, yeah, that may be kind of, well, we'll circle back to that. I don't know. Maybe we could pull some strings there, maybe not. I don't know.
Okay,
But-
and then my other question was about the ramp that went in at Glen Auto. Did that go in at the beginning of the season?
A little, like mid-season. It was after our last meeting in July. It was like the week after our last meeting in July.
Okay, very cool. And do we pull that out at the end of the
It's
season?
already, yeah, I'll show you a picture of that.
Okay, excellent. That was, I was just curious. It looks good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, that's Jonathan Villalobos, our rockstar facilities maintenance tech, who has been leading parks workers on a lot of these construction projects, on the boardwalk build and stuff. Jonathan is awesome and very highly capable. And yeah, here's one more little replacement amenity here. Here's a new split rail fence that we put in at the Robbins Way trailhead in the last month. So the other one was falling down and falling over. And here you go. So yeah, just last week we were pulling the AMR shed and ramp off of the beach using the Public Works backhoe. Yeah, which is always fun every year. It's always literally a balancing act, as you can see.
Where does it get stored at?
Just up the hill, just right next to the emergency lane, right across from the kiosk at Glen Auto. Like you'll see it just parked on out of the way of the parking lot. And also you'll see pretty soon a new tiny library replacement at Sunrise Park. One of the casualties of the string of vandalism incidents at Sunrise Park last year was the much beloved tiny library where people can take and leave books to share with others. And so we are resurrecting the tiny library. It's coming back here very soon. So that's that's it right there.
It's a lot easier to move than the AMR shed.
It is a lot. Yeah, actually, we should strap it to the front of the backhoe the same way.
Yes. Photo on the backhoe.
Yeah, and the only piece of equipment that the Parks Division has budgeted for this year is this new John Deere RC6 rotary cutter that was just delivered last week. And yeah, this is a good piece of equipment. I'm excited to have this. This is gonna go on the back of our new tractor, and it's gonna help us with mowing large fields like Sunrise Park or the URA. It's gonna help us with clearing large established stands of blackberry bramble, that kind of stuff. So it's a lot tougher and earlier than our other mowers, and cuts a wider path. So.
Can it do angles?
It can't do side hill angle. It's not like an articulated one. It goes on the back of the tractor. What you can do is you can like back the tractor up a hill and like mow down and do that repeatedly, or go up and down, straight up and down. But side hill's not right.
I was looking at that.
Yep, Tristan.
Speaking of black
Blackberry Rambles at the top of Robbins Way. I noticed like all those got cleared out. What's the story behind that?
That's right, yeah, so that was earlier this summer, I believe that was before our July meeting, but earlier, so that whole area actually is a stormwater swale. So that is wastewater superintendent Sean Anderson's jurisdiction. So I didn't order that, but I did work with the crew a little bit as they were out there. It was a contract land clearing crew that did an excellent job. I don't remember the name of that crew. I should ask him, because I would definitely use them again.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a detention pond for stormwater runoff out of the Beaver Creek neighborhood right there. So.
Cool.
Yes.
I have a question about that Robbins Way Trail. If you go into Beaver Creek and you head towards where the Robbins Way Trailhead starts, you guys took out some cottonwoods that were along the path. And the big, huge, they just kind of threw them on the side there. Are they just gonna stay on the side of the canyon there, or will they?
Robbins Way or Strawberry Meadows?
Well, it's Strawberry Meadows. It's
Yeah.
behind the houses.
Yeah.
The two trees were just kind of thrown into the brambles or the blackberries there. Are they gonna be left on the side there?
At this point, probably, that was a contract arborist that I paid to remove hazard trees that were leaning over people's property that, yeah, so, if they're in the way of the trail, I can take care of them. I don't
Not
believe-
necessarily, they're just
Yeah.
kind of like, they just kind of got tossed to the side, and I was curious.
Yeah, go for it, Frank.
From an erosion perspective, that's actually a good thing.
Okay,
So it's a technique that we use on trail making a lot.
it's definitely holding down the blackberries.
Cottonwoods are notorious for decaying pretty quickly, and they'll enrich the soil. I mean, there's a lot of pros there, as well as wildlife and other stuff that goes in there. Since we're talking about Robbins Way area, also there's the spring that bubbles up, and there's one culvert there, maybe there's two culverts there, but the spring is definitely going over any sort of ditch that's collecting it, and that's getting like pretty slick on that stretch.
Okay, maybe, we need to do a little bit of erosion control, cut some water
Yeah, I
bodies
think
at the top of the trail
it
or
just needs to
something.
be banked up a bit and maybe benched out a bit.
And that's at the below that pond you were talking about, right?
It's it's before the bridge if you're hiking up from it's about halfway up from Harlem.
Oh, I know the
There's
spot.
actually
I know the
two
spot you're talking
problem
about.
spots, but one of them is getting collected at one of the 4x4 catches, and it's kind of just like scum right there, and it's pretty slick.
I noticed that the other day myself, yeah, so thank you for pointing that out. Sorry, just making a note of that. And yeah, that's the end of my slideshow there. So I'm just looking back and making sure I didn't miss anything. I guess the only other things that I would mention are that Cove Construction is chugging along out at Sharon Nesbitt Park. If you've taken a walk out there, you'll notice that there's some big changes happening out there. I don't know if they're finished with all the concrete work yet, but they're getting pretty close, and the park is really starting to take shape out there. It's really exciting to watch. They're installing irrigation. We're getting closer to open. I mean, at this point, they are saying that they are on track for a late October, early November grand opening. So that is definitely exciting. So yeah, more to come on that certainly. And the only other thing that I feel like I should probably mention to everybody is, if you're not already aware, there was a confirmed detection of the emerald ash borer beetle in East County a couple of weeks ago near David Douglas High School. And so I am currently in communication with people who specialize in invasive pests at the federal and state and local level. Actually, a good friend of mine works for USDA APHIS on invasive insects, and I've been working with her and her colleagues and some other people that she knows at Oregon Department of Forestry. And this actually fits in, really well with the discussion tonight about our urban forestry management plan, which will come a little bit later. But That's something that, you know, everybody should keep an eye out for. There's some information on the city website about Emerald Ash Borer Beetle or EAB, and kind of what to look out for. Probably one of the most important things to be aware of is not to move firewood. If you have stored firewood, don't be moving it from one place to another, or one town to another within Multnomah County. That's a way that these guys hitch a ride from one place to another.
Can I ask a question on that? Is it just hang out in like chopped wood, or hang out in affects live trees?
Live trees, ash trees, and that's why it's called an emerald ash borer. Is they primarily are, it's all species of Fraxinus ash, and they also, it seems like, are attacking fringe trees and some olive trees. They think maybe are going to be susceptible as well.
Okay, and then is it something that maybe would be putting something in the Troutdale Champion as well as a?
That is probably coming. Yes, that'll probably be coming, and actually probably there's going to be a banner that pops up anytime anybody applies for a street tree removal permit. On the permits portal, there's probably going to be a thing that says, here's the procedure for emerald ash borer. So eventually, probably not anytime soon, but I think that's probably going to be coming soon. Anyway, yeah.
Woodrow, Troutdale. So what would be the process if, say, like, we have some neighbors that just moved in a really pretty fifth wheel and they have half a quart of firewood in the back of their truck that they brought in from?
Yeah, there's not gonna be any kind of like enforcement actions on anything like that. I think that it's about education and providing people with the information to do everything that they can to prevent proliferation of the pest. But that being said, we've known for a long time that this was gonna happen, and now it's happening, so.
I mean, should we burn it right away then, or what would you?
Yeah, I mean, certainly.
I don't know.
It is advisable, if you cut down an ash tree, it's advisable to burn all the wood, yeah.
If they let you burn.
Just not now.
Yeah.
John, I have a question. I hate to put you on the spot, but you said there's information on the website about it. Is there a way for you to screen share with us and show us where? It is on
I don't
the
know if
website?
that's come up yet. I've been talking to Kevin about it. Okay, so maybe I misspoke. I don't know for sure if it's on the website, if he's put it up there. He's been preparing something. I thought that he had something up there, but I don't,
You couldn't go to it right now.
I guess I could, if we wanna pause the meeting and have me go to the website, I can do that. But if it's not there now, it'll be there very soon.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it would be in the community news, and I'm not seeing it there. So yeah, I'll talk to Kevin about that tomorrow. We need to get.
So in the community news section of the website is where we would find the information eventually?
That's where, yeah, you would find it, and if you want, I can share a link. There's actually, City of Portland put out a really good emerald ash borer response plan recently. So I can share that with anybody after the meeting who's interested in it.
Jerry, I have one more question, maybe a little bit ditzy, I'm not sure. Is ash a wood that people typically choose to burn?
Not really.
Okay.
No, but they're pretty trees and they are, semi-common. There's not a ton of them in Troutdale, but we do have them. They're right out here if you want to see them. All these planters all around TPCC have ash trees.
Down towards the
Okay.
river too.
All right, are there any other questions for Jonah about communication? Anything we've heard? All right, what about online? Anybody have any questions online? All right, we're gonna move to number 5, the Urban Forestry Management Plan update. Oh, wait, I skipped number 4, public to be heard. We've got some new public in here, so we will start with people in the room. If you want to share anything with us, come forward and state your name. We're trying to keep it under 5 minutes per speaker, but we'd love to hear from you guys.
Okay. My name is Katie. I live in Troutdale.
Would you mind stepping right up to the?
Never been on camera and in the.
Yeah, it's okay.
So My name is Katie Serbrook. I live along Sunrise Park. And Frank showed up a couple weeks ago, and I didn't know who he was, and he was talking about Sunrise Park, and so just got everybody talking, and we heard about trees being planted. Is this where I'm supposed to say this stuff? Okay, I didn't know. But so I just had a couple things a few things about Sunrise Park I wanted to comment or ask. When you reminded me, when you showed the mower, I had questions about the mowing, just learning, talking to Deb and talking to Matt, that it's a wildlife park, or it's not supposed to be mowed, I heard. That it's supposed to promote biodiversity. This is what I've been told.
The pollinator garden is, there's actually, the city has municipal code requirements that we make everybody adhere to, about how the height that they mow their lawns to.
Yeah.
So we also need to adhere to some of those rules, and really, even if that wasn't a municipal code thing, it's a fire danger thing.
Yeah.
If we were to leave Sunrise Park with shoulder high grass all summer long, one little spark or cigarette butt is gonna light the place on fire.
Yeah. I'll just say that this is the first summer it's been all mowed, and it's just wonderful. I love it. I love seeing the kids out there playing. I do miss some of the wild flowers that I've seen, but I do notice less hawks and less owls, because I know the rodents and some of the animals that do live in the grasses. So I learned about some of this. So I just wondered, is it supposed to be all mowed, or are there supposed to be some grasses tall? And talking to Deb, she said near her garden is supposed to be a riparian zone.
Riparian?
Yeah, zone, and that got all mowed down. I didn't know what that was until today, so I just wanted to bring that here.
Okay.
I didn't.
Thank you.
Yeah. Also, I know I listened to the meeting last month, I think it was, and talking to you, you said you wanted to get some stewards for the park, and so I did get some names.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so, I always felt like we were the stewards of the park, but just to make it more formal, and they represent the people that live along the house and people that live in the neighborhood from all age demographics, so retired, empty nesters, and people with little kids and high school kids. So I have that list. I can send it to you, or I don't know what.
Wow, we're on new ground here. So next meeting, we're gonna talk about Sunrise Park specifically, or?
Well, if you want, we're gonna have a pretty full agenda next meeting, between presentation from the Dudek consultants on this urban forestry management plan, and also we're gonna need to be talking about the Friends of Trees planting plan, certainly about in relation to Sunrise Park, but also broadly.
So just thinking out loud here. So why don't we go direct with Jonah, since he's the director, and we'll figure out, we're kind of on new ground with that.
Superintendent, I'm not a director.
Well, I like director. We're kind of on, we don't even have a program that says steward. I think we have a park adopting.
Yeah, I did see that. I have paper. I didn't know if I should do that or just do the steward, because I feel, I've said it that.
So what I would recommend, if the committee is okay with it, that I sit down with you and probably the chair and Jonah, and we figure out kind of a game plan of how we do this, as forming a group for the year.
For Sunrise.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And then also the Beaver Creek Bridge reminded me of the bridge there at Sunrise. They usually put the sticky stuff on there, and it's about that time.
Yeah, we can
We're gonna start getting slick, so I didn't know who. because there's not someone at the park like there usually is. There was like the Jason and then the Jason number 2.
Yeah, so Jason number 2 was a seasonal.
Oh, he told me
did not
he
work
was.
out. No,
Yeah.
he was not. He was a seasonal employee.
Okay.
And did not work out. Yeah, so we are currently, one thing I didn't mention in my staff communications is we are currently doing a recruitment for a full-time parks worker.
Yes, I've heard that. I think that
But
would
if anybody has any questions about, anyway, long story short, there has been a little bit of a gap in a designated parks worker at Sunrise Park this year, as we've been dealing with some staffing issues out there. But we do have the rest of our seasonal team has been phenomenal, and they've been picking up the slack out there, so.
Yeah, I think everybody is great, everybody that has come to Sunrise Park and worked. But yeah, and having someone there a little more frequently, I know that's not their job to police, but their presence stops some of the people from letting their dogs off leash. It stops people from, letting their poop, not picking up their poop. And people that walk around the park, that live along the park, pick up, we'll do that. We'll pick up the garbage, we'll
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. Thank you for that. Yeah, and thank you.
And then the trees, I'm sure I don't know if it's now the time to talk about that, or do you want to talk about it next time, or?
We're not scheduled to talk about trees at Sunrise Park. I will say that, there are a great many people who have a great many opinions about what should be done with the landscape at Sunrise Park. So that is going to be a big discussion. I guess, that is going to be approached from a land management perspective, first and foremost, not an aesthetic perspective. Things like fire safety are going to, come into play in the actions that are taken out there in terms of the length of the grass. There's, I know that trees out there are something that people are very concerned about. So that will be a larger discussion. I thank you for your input about Sunrise, and you're welcome to return every single time that we're talking about it. The neighbors, the way that, the neighbors feel about it is going to be taken into account. None of you are going to be shut out of this discussion, and you will be, welcome participants every step of the way. Just as all of the park users who do not live adjacent to the park will be, so.
Okay, but it is appropriate, you could share, this is like, you
Absolutely.
can talk about anything, so if you.
I'm not saying it's not appropriate.
Oh, okay.
You're
Oh,
absolutely
okay.
welcome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't live, I live along the park, but I think the trees that I was told aren't gonna affect my view, but it will affect other people's view. They can argue their point, but one thing that some of the users that don't live along, that are just frequent users that live along the neighborhood, have said they love the visibility. It makes them feel safe. There's a lot of single women runners, walkers, and they think with the added trees, it will ruin the visibility to be able to see all, who's in the park at all times. And I know with parents with children, it's the same thing. They let their kids ride their bike, they can see them. It's a safety thing for them. And it's Sunrise Park, so running along or walking along the west side of the trail, you can see the sunrise. So hopefully that will be taken in consideration, because that's what the park is called.
It absolutely will. And the whole point of any tree planting for low slight height, slow-growing oak trees, the whole purpose of them would actually be to shade the path in the sunset time. So they would be on the west side of the path.
Right. Up the upper part.
Of the upper part.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So in any case, that'll be a bigger discussion, and and your input is welcome every step of the way.
Okay.
And there's no
But no one's
decision.
complaining about it not being shaded too.
There's also no decisions being made on that tonight.
Everybody's happy in the park.
Thank you so much for speaking.
Yeah.
Next, come on up.
I'm Mary Ann Gray, and I'm from Troutdale. I too want to talk about Sunrise Park because I go there all the time. When we were talking, and all the neighbors actually have gotten together, and we were kind of having a neighborhood discussion about it. There is a concern. There are a lot of single people that do walk and run that trail, me included. And we like having the open visibility. We like having the risk. We get high winds going through Troutdale, and it's a risk to people's homes and other things to have branches and limbs, you know, down the road, causing issues and getting into people's property. We also, you know, just have general concerns, again, visibility, being able to see the beauty. I mean, it's gorgeous when you go there and you're able to see Mount Hood. It's a beautiful view. And so and several of the neighbors, I think the more you talk and have more community and neighbor involvement, the more you're gonna hear that people really don't want a whole bunch of trees put in just for safety's sake. And for, saving money down the road for homeowners in case of storms, things like that. So that was my big reason for even coming tonight, and I'm gonna stay involved just for that cause, is the safety of the park. We have a lot of people. There's a lot of moms walking with their kids early morning. There's a lot of people that stay there even when it's getting dark through the dusk at night. And so again, safety is one of the biggest things. And getting a committee of people that live near there, people would gladly want to be involved in that if there was one. Again, safety. I just had a report of somebody that actually had a huge breakdown right in the middle of the park. People just came right in, helped, got the EMTs, advocated for the person, and the person was taken in due diligence, and lots of compliments to the people that were first responders that helped them. And that's the kind of community park we have. So I want to keep that going. I also go to Glen Otto Park and some of the other parks. It's the same thing there. Safety is like really key. So.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, and same goes for you, Marianne, and all the Sunrise neighbors. Your involvement in this discussion is welcome. And no decisions are going to be made in a vacuum without your involvement.
Right, was there anybody that wanted to comment online? This is just public to be heard, so it can be on any topic. Okay, we're gonna close public comment and move on to number 5, urban forest management plan update.
Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of refresh everybody's memory about something that I talked about previously with the $100,000 grant that the city received for developing a urban forestry management plan, which includes a street tree planting list and manual, and some eventually some suggested changes to Troutdale Municipal Code governing street trees, which is, it's something that is kind of long overdue, and my colleagues in the community development department have been working on a lot of public engagement materials around this. And some of you may have already seen them out there in Troutdale. I'm sure you all saw the stuff that was included in the packet. But there is a survey that is currently available for all Troutdale residents. And a big part of what these suggested changes to the code are going to be about are how to make our street tree growth work better for the people who live here. And so we really need your feedback on this, and we want to hear from all of you. So next month in October, we will be giving a presentation from the DUDEC consultants who are working with the city on this. And in preparation for that, I want to assign a little bit of homework to all of you. Please take this survey yourselves. Please share this survey with your friends and neighbors. Start thinking about it, start discussing it, and preparing to really dig into this in the coming year. And we're likely not gonna have, a full set of code changes to discuss next month. However, what we will be doing is, just focusing on informing you all of the planning process and the timeline, and the overall arching goals of the project. And really the key part of that is the feedback that will be recorded in the discussion in the October meeting. And so, Frank, did you have a question for me?
No, this is Frank. I just wanted to highlight, I brought in extra copies if people want to take extra copies on the table.
Can I ask, I heard you say this is for Troutdale residents. I heard you say you can share it with your friends and family. Is the idea that we're just getting feedback, yes, from Troutdale residents about Troutdale stuff?
That's correct, yes, please. That's an important detail. Thank you for mentioning that. Please share it with your friends and family here in Troutdale. People who would be, affected by Troutdale municipal street tree code, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. And with that also, I see we do have Erica Palmer, Community Development Director, online here. So if, Erica, feel free to hop on if there's anything more you want to say about the UFMP.
No, you did an excellent job, Jonah. Thank you.
Thank you. And does anybody else have any questions about this? This is really just I really kind of just wanted to bring this up and remind you all, because this is going to be something that is going to be probably a major theme of next month's meeting. So. I'm sorry, so before we get too far ahead here, circling back to public comment, I do all the committee members have seen a couple of emails from me regarding this same topic of trees at Sunrise Park. And I just wanted to just state on the record that I have received a couple of other, both emails and hand-delivered letters from Sunrise neighbors. And I wanted to state on record that those have also been distributed to the committee members, and those will be included as part of the public comment record of the minutes of tonight's meeting. So.
All right, did we have questions about the urban forestry management plan update from the room? No questions in the room?
Just my only homework is doing the survey.
Your only homework so far. We're not done yet, Sherry.
I have a question, and I think I already know the answer, but if Erica's still online, when is the date that the survey is supposed to close? Do we have a close date for it? Are we aiming for a date?
So we're aiming towards the end of October. So let's just say October 31st, which is a Friday, which is Halloween. But if we haven't received a good number of surveys by that time, we will probably keep it open for another couple of weeks. But I can tell you right now, we've had a pretty good survey response. I think we're a little bit above 100 people.
Okay. I know Frank did some door knockers. They printed a little tiny one for us to pass out at First Friday. The Citizens Advisory Committee, we were trying to give those to people. And I think did you pass out some of those that were for that survey?
Yeah.
So we did that, and I also had an idea of trying to get the word out for that, if anybody else is willing to do it. I was trying to think of areas, and I thought, hey, what if we set outside of Home Depot one of the afternoons? I don't know if you would, because next to the garden
We gotta
department.
be careful about legalities. too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a thought that I had, because they like trees, they like plants.
Yeah, we'll stand outside the tree department.
I don't know, that was just a thought that I had. I myself have shared it I've shared it with any page that has anything to do with Troutdale on Facebook, and it's been shared by Frank and I from Troutdale's website 23 times. It only has 12 likes on Instagram though, so if any of you are Instagram users and you're on different Instagram pages, or you're a part of any Instagram Troutdale groups, I'm not an Instagrammer. I'm on it, I'm not active on it though. I'd love to see it shared there more. And just, I'm trying to share it with every place that I can in Troutdale. So I would love to see you guys doing that. And I actually think we should bump it on the city page if at all possible, because it's pretty far down now. So that was my comments
I'm
on
also,
that.
tomorrow, I'm gonna take, if this isn't already in all of our, you know, if this sheet right here with the QR, isn't already in every single kiosk that we have in parks, I can get all of those posted tomorrow, so.
Take some with you.
Dozens.
Erica, if any of us want to come get copies, could we stop by city planning and grab those from you?
Yes, you certainly can.
And is Frank available to dress up in a tree costume and hand them out? I mean, is that something that?
That's a great idea.
You could be one of those guys that goes like
Do we have a tree
this.
costume for Frank?
I would be willing to do that if it got more people in the survey.
If there were two,
All
I
right.
would do it with you.
Just, and I would have
That is on the record. Frank and Woodward, they decided to dress up like trees. We can make that happen, that'd be great. All right, we will, if there's any comments online about the urban forestry plan,
Tiffany,
go ahead, Paul.
hi, Tiffany Polo Cox. I had a question. Are there any plans or ideas of how to engage with HOAs that, because ours in particular, the board seems to add and subtract trees at will. So there's probably a few hundred trees in the development. So I just wondered how they would be involved and engaged.
Currently, I think Erica's gonna take that, right?
I was gonna say, Paul, if you can email me the contact information to maybe the president of your HOA, I can send them information on how to get involved. And hopefully maybe the HOA can actually spread the survey through, their contacts and their email distribution list as well.
Okay, I can do that.
Thank you, Paul.
All right, is there any other comments or questions on this topic? Okay, we are gonna move forward to number 6. Formally recommending the name Mary Tibbetts Trail in the Sharon Nesbitt Heritage Park. So I think we discussed this way back when we recommended that city council name the park Sharon Nesbitt Heritage Park. And this got left out of our, it just got left out of the naming. And so I think.
And to explain that, I discussed this with a few other people. I'm not sure if it was simply an oversight or if that was an intentional decision that because Mrs. Sharon Nesbitt was in the room and they didn't want to dilute just the presentation of the park naming with, to her that night. So in any case, we're circling back to it now just to formalize that.
Okay, so do we need a motion to, go ahead.
This is Sherry. Before we get into that, and no offense to Mary Tibbetts, I think there is 2 Indian Mary courts up by Home Depot, Walmart, and not saying their name particularly off this lady. But I do kind of feel like when we just take a name and we haven't really discussed it with the Historical Society here in Troutdale, there are lots of individuals that probably warrant a name. I'm not even sure necessarily we should chop the trail with another name. To me, it starts to feel like there's no continuity in the trail without, a piece and a piece. But I might just say that there's other people with contributions, and as much as I feel terrible that this woman died alone, I also think that there's other tragedies and we could warrant saying we're gonna name after somebody else. For that reason, I'd like to think that we are naming things in Troutdale after people that have done some large contributions to the Troutdale area. So it seems like we could consult the Historical Society to find potential names instead. Instead of just this one, they might come back with this name and say, hey, this is a great name and we could do something, but I kind of feel like rather than go forward with this. I mean, I can think if we had a mayor who was really significant in doing a lot of stuff for Troutdale, including getting the lifeguard station down in Glen Arrow Park. His name was Paul Fowler. You guys might have heard of him, maybe you haven't, but he was pretty significant in a lot of stuff in Troutdale. So like for me, I kind of feel like we're just jumping ahead with another name for somebody, but there could be some other people that weren't titling something instead. So I just want to give my 2 cents, so.
Rick?
So I would highly recommend you go to, we started a group, Sharon Nesbitt Park group on Facebook. The Mary Tibbetts story is there. I was the guy that recommended it as just a resident coming in, based on my experience with the Historical Society. That's where I got the information from. So that was actually from Chris, the director at the Oregon Historical Society. So that's where I heard the story. And then I actually tried to find her gravesite, which you cannot find. It's unmarked up in there. And it would make a great movie, honestly. So I was surprised when I brought it in. It was a great story, and it reflects, I think, the Troutdale, the story that's not often very well heard in the narrative that really isn't in Troutdale. And I think it's important that we look at our population in the city as a whole, as well as not to take away from all of the people that have contributed to the city as well, but I think there are a lot of other people here long before us and our settlement that need to be recognized as well. So, and that's part of the trail. I think there was some follow-up at some other meetings concerning the fact that the trail will be an interpretive trail, and this only highlights that as well. So, and if you go to the Chalk Chalk Trail, along the Chalk Chalk Trail, right across from the airport is a placard that highlights the indigenous contributions to the area, but that's one of the only ones you will find in this city. So I think this is a gaping opportunity that we could take advantage of. So that's all I have to say. But I would recommend you go to the information that's actually on the Oregon Historical Society and also the Troutdale Historical Society.
Woodrow?
Hi, do we need to make anything like more formal presentation for, I guess this is gonna be the formal recommendation we make to the council, is that right?
That would be the idea, correct?
Okay.
Yes, and so, I mean, there was a vote taken already to recommend this name to Troutdale. However, it seems as though that is now being confirmed at this moment, and so the committee would have the opportunity to interact and review it if they wanted to. I mean, I guess I would be remiss if I did not at least say that from a economic development and tourism standpoint, there are some folks who feel that name recognition and is important, and that sometimes these things default to what people call them, like, you know, the Sandy River Trail or something like that. But so there are some folks on the tourism and economic development side of things who would prefer to see, you know, one name for the entire bike path, or something that is of a regional representation that sticks in people's minds. However, that being said, I have absolutely no dog in the race. So,
I think Robbie wants to say something.
Yeah, Frank, I really resonate with what you're saying. I also resonate with what Jonah just said. I think that particularly if we have the Sharon Nesbitt Park and then an additionally named trail within it, I find that to be just a little bit confusing, and I'm curious if there's any leeway to keep the dedication, keep the naming, but for something else with inside the park, still having that interpretive part of it. But you know, we see that like underneath the bridge part of it, there's that like suspended walkway. We could like name that section after her, or like one of the play areas after her, something like that. I do kind of align with those members' opinions. Just like having the dual names would be a little bit confusing, and I feel like it would also diminish the value of the dedication to sharing. So I feel like having the dual name would be just a little bit confusing, but I want to keep the dedication because I love the story and I find it really powerful as well. Just maybe the whole trail, like, I don't know, that takes away from the Choctaw Trail as well and other things. So I do just want it to be for the record that I love the idea. I just think that it would be a little bit confusing having the dual names. And then, like Jonah said, I personally, if I was going down there, I would read the plaque, but I wouldn't necessarily refer to it as the Mary Tibbetts Trail or something like that. And I would probably default to calling it, or saying it was the Sandy River Trail or something like that. So that's kind of where I'm at on it.
I go back to, I don't know where Tibbetts would start and end. I mean, I kind of have an idea where Choctaw is supposed to go. But I don't know. I don't understand I know she's the Tibbet story is very powerful. And it's something that I think needs to be shared. What's the best way to call that out? Right? And maybe we need to talk to economic development and, you know, where can we best highlight that story in Troutdale?
Might I offer one idea about that? As Sherry said, we do have a street here in Troutdale called Indian Mary Street. I just earlier today was looking at an article on the Oregonian of 40 places in Oregon with offensive names that are scheduled to be renamed. I would say that perhaps if you want to honor Mary Tibbetts, maybe the best way to do that would be to rename the street in Troutdale that's already named for her with her actual name.
And again, I don't know if that actually is after her. I just know that there is, and it's Court, I believe.
I believe it is. It's
There's an Indian Mary John, and I mean, there's an Indian John and there's an Indian Mary.
Oh, yeah. I like that thought, John.
Wild. And again, I think I brought this up during the discussion we had with Nesbitt Park was, I think we ought to rename Halsey.
Halsey, we should rename Halsey?
I think we should rename Halsey and make Halsey from 238 on in and call it Nesbitt. And change that to the Nesbitt corridor, because, you know, I think that, I'm pretty certain that McMinimus would get on board with that, and that any other opposition would be quickly
I like your ambition, Woodrow, that's good.
think big or go home.
Erica, did you have something to say?
I do have something to add here. So I want to let everybody know that we are working with the company on 6 interpretive signs for the Sharon Nesbitt Heritage Park. And the interpretive signs will range from talking about, you know, the flora and fauna of the area to how Troutdale came about, all the way to talking about the construction of I-84. And I think what we can do on, what we plan to do, at least on one of the interpretive signage, is to, you know, talk about some of the historical figures in Troutdale, and we can certainly add Mary Tibbetts.
Those are going to be, just to confirm, Erica, those are going to be along the trail, those signs, or are they going to be inside the pocket parks?
They are going to be along the trail, and we're going to have a draft of these signs here within the next couple of months. We've been working with the Historical Society and several other historical members throughout the, you know, Portland region, including the tribes, to gather this information. And once we have a good solid draft of what we would like to have on those signs, we plan on bringing them back to the Parks Committee to review at some point here in the future, probably early next year.
Excellent. So do you think the park will be open before the signs go up?
Oh, yes, definitely. The park will be open before the signs go up. So we are doing the design of these signs right now, and then we expect to go out for a grant for the construction and installation of these signs next year.
Frank, did you have something you wanted to ask?
I did. Erica, this is Frank. I had a question.
Hi, Frank.
Concerning wayfinding.
Yes.
So following the train of thought where we're going here, do we already have Metro doing wayfinding signs that illustrate a name already, or how's that working out?
Yep, we do. So Metro, along with the Intertwine Alliance, they will be doing some wayfinding signs for the park, and that will include the park name and the trail name.
So is that why we're having this conversation? Because we have
So
to.
is that on hold waiting for us?
No, that those signs are, well, they're on hold right now. Yes, to figure out what the trail name is going to be.
Okay, that changes things.
There was a push to get this figured out, and originally this was going to be included in the agenda, the next council meeting, but that actually did get moved. I hesitate to say that because I don't want to have this be an open-ended, indefinite sort of thing, and eventually we are going to need to order some signs that have a name on them, right? The last I heard from Travis on this was that Metro was gonna proceed on their schedule with sign production. We weren't gonna hang them up, and that we would have to go back through and potentially, edit the signs, either with a layover or something until we were to replace those. But the name of this trail is gonna be there forever, right? Signs can come and go. So, it's important to not just make a decision based on a due date to order signs, I think.
So are the signs currently, this is Tiffany, do they currently say Mary Tibbetts Trail? Do we know?
There's no signs out there yet. No, and I believe that the name that Metro was gonna proceed with was just Sandy River Trail.
So it's not gonna be the same as Sharon Nesbitt Trail. It's not gonna, or it's just, we're not gonna see Sharon Nesbitt Heritage Park and Trail.
You'll see Sharon Nesbitt Heritage Park on those signs, absolutely. The trail, I believe, is what we're talking about tonight, right?
This is Robbie, just like kind of putting myself in the shoes of those people on the tourism side of things. In terms of search engine optimization, bringing people in via, websites or anything like that, when people go to search, if I was walking around and I saw that, I would go and look for Sandy River Walking Trail or something like that. If Glen Otto, that trail through there was way more visible, I would search for the same thing. But if I saw it coming through 84 off the bridge, that's the first thing that I would Google. So if we want to have that park show up, if we want to have people come to it and try to find it, I do just think defaulting to the Sandy River Trail or something like that within the Sharon Nesbitt Park makes sense. I get where they're coming from, and from my perspective, yeah, it does make sense.
Frank?
Yeah, I mean, with the knowledge of the interpretive signs going up, I think that would recognize the narrative that my goal was initially. The continuation of the Chalk Chalk Trail to the end to the visitor center, I think makes much more sense than having two names.
True.
And it also recognizes a narrative for the Chinook tribe as well. So,
For me, I just like telling Chalk Chalk. I mean, it comes around the bend as Chalk Chalk, and it doesn't change into anything, it's Chalk Chalk.
All the way through Troutdale's portion of the 40-mile loop right there, yeah. So I mean, personally, that seems like the most attractive option to me, but I'm not gonna vote, so.
I mean,
it's up to us for more discussion. I don't know. I can make a motion if you want.
Well, are we ready to make a motion? Does somebody want to make a motion about what we're doing here? Are we saying we want to go back and not do Mary Tibbetts and honor her within the interpretive signs, and then name the trail Chalk Chalk, keep it so it flows and there's continuity?
Here, if I may, if we could have a motion on the table, for example, let's name it the Chalk Chalk Trail all the way. We vote on that. If it doesn't pass, that just brings us back to another conversation, so at least we know And if it does pass, then we know it's resolved.
All right, so
Does that make sense?
that does.
Totally.
All right, this is Shelley. I move that we name the entire trail the Chalk Chalk Trail.
Second.
All right, we have a motion
This
on
is a roll call vote.
We're gonna do a roll call vote
Okay,
on,
hold on, so that was Shelley and Jim. Okay. Okay, in the motion, Frank Stevens, how do you vote? Shelley Reynolds, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tristan Jones, how do you vote?
Yes.
Sherry Winters, how do you vote?
Yes.
Robbie Cantrell, how do you vote?
Yes.
Jim Hill, how do you vote?
Yes.
Woodrow Terrell, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tiffany Long, how do you vote?
yes.
Victoria Rizzo, how do you vote?
Yes.
It passes. The entire trail will be referred to as the Chalk Chalk Trail. Or, sorry, the recommendation to City Council will be that the entire trail be called Chalk Chalk Trail.
All right, we're gonna move on. There, number 7 is the Parks Volunteer Steward Program.
Sorry, this is Shelley, one more time. If we could just take a step back, now that we've made that decision, I think we're all probably on the same page in that we'd like to see Mary Tibbetts acknowledged somewhere. And we don't want to lose that in our conversations.
Okay, so do we do a motion to add her to the interpretive signs or request that be done?
I think maybe go ahead. Sorry, Erica.
I don't think we need a motion. I think I've definitely heard from this committee tonight, this evening, that you would like something about Mary Tibbetts on that interpretive signage. And so I'm going to take that back and work with the Troutdale Historical Society and work with the consulting folks that we're working with on the design of these signs, and we can make that happen. And we'll bring something back to you early in 2026 to review.
Perfect.
Jim?
So earlier we heard mention about the street names that could be potentially offensive. It's probably not our purvey. However, we recommend that that be seen by another group or the council consider that.
Changing the name of a street is almost certainly something that the council would need to vote on. So that is, I'm not sure where that recommendation would be most proper for it to come from, or if it even matters. I think that if some committee or another one makes that recommendation to council, then it will get it on their radar, and then perhaps, and then they'll do whatever they do with it.
I hate to see that lost. And one street name was brought up related to Mary, but it sounds like there's another one also that should be considered.
Indian John also, yeah, maybe it'd be a good idea to go ahead and take care of that before we find ourselves on the Oregonians list of places that need.
All right, so do you wanna move that we
Do
recommend
we need a
that?
motion for this? We want to, as a group, yeah? So I would move that this committee recommend to city council to examine those 2 street names in particular, and perhaps the list of names that might also be considered offensive in today's times. Does that make sense? That's Jim Hill saying that.
I second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to
Who was the
recommend,
second? Sorry, Woodrow?
recommend to city council that we look at the offensive street names within our city.
And since it's another council recommendation, does that also have to be a roll call vote? No?
Probably not.
All in favor? Aye.
All right.
Any opposed? All right, so we'll do that too.
Sherry abstains.
This is Robbie. Does the Parks Advisory Committee really get to make a recommendation about the
We're
street?
just advising.
We'll see where that lands.
We're the
Just did.
Parking Advisory Committee, oversight over the street names.
This is Jim, probably not, but I think Jonah's point about it, bringing it to the attention, getting it on the radar is what we're trying to attempt here.
Some committees got to do it. Why not?
Right, so maybe some,
Well, is there like a historic committee somewhere? We know anybody who's on that?
I do know someone that would happen to be on that said committee.
Is there anybody in the crowd want to join the historic committee?
We're gonna move on to number 7, the Parks Volunteer Steward Program. Is that, your purview, Jonah?
No, I thought that was you, Frank. I thought that was.
Yeah.
That's you? Okay,
Yeah.
Frank.
Do you have a different t-shirt for that?
This is Frank for everyone online, if you can hear me okay. So I think I came in months ago. Somewhere in the minutes, you'll find that we brought up, this is kind of a topic that goes with community involvement as well. But Chalk Chalk Trail was a great example of a group of people that utilized the park coming together as a group and being stewards for the park. And in reality, taking back the space, I guess you could say, or at least monitoring the space. It almost borders on community involvement to the point of like oversight, but not in like a decision-making way. The staff is, you still have all the agencies doing their thing, but you just have people utilizing the space. So I carried that forward with the Chalk Chalk group, which is a nonprofit group of people that just talk to each other. And now they're actually picking up trash in bags and giving it to the city and the park. I mean, the whole area is just like a game changer after a year. We're up to 150 people on the trail, 50 people every day, bikers, at least up to 200 bikers on, each day on the weekend. It's all positive, all because of basically a steward program. You don't have to call it steward, you could call it ambassador, you could call it just adopt a park program, whatever you want to call it. But there really isn't anything in Troutdale that we have that that's a benchmark that we could go to in writing. So I think we're on new ground here, and I think we can take if I can find anything in our history, I would be happy to pull it up, but I couldn't. So I think Sunrise Park is a great pilot project to try this on, because it's probably based on just my 2 days of observation. It was a steady stream of people throughout the day, and it was every demographic that you could hit in the city. That is, with all the other parks, and I've been here 34 years, I've never seen that in another park. So Sunrise is unique, for sure, and I think that would be a great place to start. And we have such great volunteers already there. One of them was actually out trying to take out blackberries with me the other day.
Speaking of which, I just want to say a huge thank you to Deb Peters, who's online.
Yeah, same.
Who has done a fantastic job with
Yeah.
the pollinator garden this year. It looks beautiful.
That's, if you guys go up there and you see the green and the flowers and the butterflies floating by, that's Deb and her crew doing great work. I think this is an opportunity for parks to actually not only connect parks, to look at the users of these parks and have them take ownership, stewardship, ambassadorship of these parks, and create these groups that are informal, but at the same time formal. It's all communication. And that brings them to us in this format, which is what we're looking for community involvement. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, and sorry, I don't mean to, if anybody else.
No, you're good.
I am appreciative of people getting involved, and you drumming up, either support for some ideas that are being, talked about in here, or opposition to it. It is all welcome, and the thing that actually, makes me happiest to see is people that I haven't seen in the room before coming to these meetings and getting involved in what's going on in the parks in their communities. That's outstanding. I think that I really appreciate the initiative on setting some things like this up, and pulling new people in, and and absolutely it's welcome. That being said, I think that we need to, we certainly need to, as these things evolve and grow, we need to be paying attention to the structure of them, and also we certainly need to be following the protocols that we have for volunteering with the city. And we need to be probably looping Molly King in on these things as they grow, and making sure that we're documenting all of the volunteer hours and information as we go. So
Is that name you mentioned,
Molly King, yeah,
Molly King,
the recreation director, she's also the volunteer coordinator for the city, so.
She's on board with this?
Does
she know about this?
I'm not sure, no, I mean, I'm sure she would be, I mean, really,
Did
you
you
know.
tell, Frank, did you tell Molly?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, she just needs to be involved in the organization of volunteer groups in general, you know, like if it's something that I think should be happening in the parks, then I'm sure that Molly is okay with it, so.
And do we have, is there a historical reference or maybe other groups, other cities, municipalities have been doing something similar?
I mean, you know, like Frank mentioned, there's, you know, like it's on his shirt right there, Friends of Trees, you know, Friends of Sunrise Park. I don't know. I mean, there's like, you know, yeah, those sorts of things exist in a lot of places, but yeah.
Tristan?
Tristan Troutdale. I know a lot of like trail organizations do like formal work parties where like if there's a big need for like brushing trails, which I know Troutdale has a big need and it's definitely labor intensive for you guys. You know, is there a way like when spring comes we can do like a work party, something maybe a little more formal than just community members doing this and that?
Absolutely.
Have some sort of work party, maybe have like local businesses support it with something.
Absolutely.
Something that's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that can happen. Anybody, I mean, really anybody who wants to organize any kind of volunteer event can approach the city. I mean, really what it takes is just filling out a parks use permit, and, you know, getting approved. I mean, you know, we need to review what it is that you're doing out there. But if there's something, you know, if there's things involved like serving food or amplified sound or something, then we need to know what's going on basically, and just, you know, be tracking volunteer hours and that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's all kinds of groups and individuals that organize things like that. I've seen it, you know, certainly Solve, Friends of Trees. I've seen people coming through like, you know, more niche groups of people who are like, you know, their own club or
Friends of just aspen trees.
yeah, or whatever. I mean, it's you know, the Steelheader Society, you know, they do their own thing, you know.
Yeah.
Robbie, did you have something you want to add?
Yeah, this is Robbie. Frank, I love the Friends of the Chalk Trail. I literally see it everywhere. It's like that, well, I don't know what you call it, but when you buy a white car and then you see white cars everywhere on the road.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen the Friends of Chalk Trail everywhere. I see it in the Mount Hood, you know, community college poster board. I see it online in the Facebook groups, you know, recommended in the Facebook groups. My wife and I were riding along the trail and we saw those little spray painted eagles.
Those are quarter mile markers.
Okay, those were awesome. I loved those. It was like a little scavenger hunt. If they weren't spray painted, maybe we should spray paint them because I could have sworn they were spray painted on there. That was an awesome little fun thing. And we have our e-bikes, so we ride on there, you know, pretty quickly, and it's fun to like, you know, have little things to look forward to on there. So maybe in the same spirit of like the interpretive signs, we could have fun little pieces of artwork. You know, that was a big initiative of Zach Andrews when he was on the committee, was artwork within the parks and on the trails.
Yeah. They're actually doing hard rocks at the entrance now.
Okay.
I don't know who started it.
What's a hard rock?
It's a cafe.
Heart rock.
Heart-shaped rock.
Oh, okay.
Hard rock.
So it's a heart-shaped rock, but people paint on
Yeah.
them.
Yep.
And there's like this weird so it just happened. I'm like on the
I can
trail.
tell you where that started. When I lived in Fairview before I moved to Troutdale, and I was on the Fairview Community Engagement Committee. And during COVID, we called them Hope Rocks.
Oh.
And they were Hope Rocks at the bottom of that bear statue.
Oh,
so
yeah.
my wife and I painted probably 20 of them. Each of the committee members probably painted 20 or 30 of them. And those spread to other parks throughout. We started noticing them in other parks. People would add them. So that's really cool to know that they did that. But I was even thinking, you know, Zach was talking about like wind-based artwork or like stuff on poles that kind of sits on top. So those spray painted eagles really got me thinking, and knowing that they're not spray painted, I think that we as the Parks Committee should get a little stencil and paint a few on there.
Yeah, I would agree. It's just a unique part of the trail. People have really adopted it, and you see these quirky little things all over the place. So, I mean, people are locking their chairs to trees on the beach.
Really?
Because they come down every day, and that's where they sit with their dogs and just watch the eagles.
Careful of the coyotes. I've seen
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 coyotes in there.
It's a really unique 3 mile stretch. So, yeah, definitely. It's going really well. But I would love to see that at the other parks in Troutdale as well.
Yes. So to summarize, I would say that if there, is anybody on the committee who has, if there's a specific area that they want to focus on and they want to, try to, loop the same group of people in or a different group of people or whatever, I mean, you're all welcome to, to contact me and propose, propose some volunteer-based, events that are either, one-off, or ongoing regular meetings, so.
I have done that myself with the dog park, have started a group for the dog park. It's not super active, but it is there and it is helpful for people to plan play dates with their dogs and it's through Facebook, so I mean, it's just a Facebook group, community run, community led. I'm an admin, so I delete things that are not applicable on there, but it's useful if somebody drops something or you find something to let people know. And we haven't done anything as far as like any dog park cleanups or cleanup days, but that could be utilized for that in the future. So that's being done in other places as well.
And as far as just social meetup or, recreational meetup or something, sure, Facebook, Instagram is fine, or using that as an organizing tool. But as soon as you're doing volunteer work in the park, we need to be filling out the volunteer paperwork. It's an insurance requirement.
Right, are there any questions for Frank on our volunteer steward program?
Well,
How do I start one, Frank?
see, that's exactly where I'm going. This is Frank. So I think that's the part where I would like to do like some formal, like a plan, like a checklist almost of how can you start? And this is where I want to do some research and pull in some stuff. I'd like to make it an agenda item and I'll do some research and pull in what I find. And maybe we can mirror someone that's already done this. And make it a little more formal so that we have hey, if you're gonna do this, then you need to make sure you get a hold of, and so on, and check and check and check.
So if we want to do a straw man example of how to start one,
Yeah.
one is like, I was thinking, the Carolyn Taylor Natural Area, is that something that would be, I don't know, should we use that as a straw man? Because
That's
that's,
the one off of Streven way out there?
no.
Something that nobody knows.
Yes, that is.
Where is it, Frank? Do you know where that is?
Community College, is that?
No, that's the one right behind my trailer.
Isn't it a
Oh, that is right. That's where the raccoon hangs out.
It is, all 5 of them.
Is that city property?
No.
I don't think it's city.
It's a natural area, why isn't it?
You're gonna be the only friend of that area.
Me and my wife, there'll be 2. But anyways, a straw man, or
It is a straw man.
we can do Glen Otto.
Which is why I picked Sunrise, because it seemed like a low-hanging fruit candy.
Sunrise.
I thought Sunrise is already running and gunning.
There are groups that have been doing this already.
Yeah,
Like, so
it really is just.
Harvest Church has an annual volunteer day that, that I don't know if it goes further back than the 3 years I've been here, but.
It would be nice to have everyone in one, like a list centralization like HOAs and neighborhood associations where these groups actually have a central area for community involvement. I mean, that would be pretty cool. So, anyway. Yeah, it's not something that, I would like to make it an agenda item, and I could definitely bring it up at another meeting if you guys want to go that for research purposes.
I think that sounds like a plan. I mean, if we can come back to it again next meeting and you can tell us what you've learned, does that sound good?
Do you, Frank, join a subcommittee? Do we want to, if there's any
I
other
would love it.
members that
That
can,
would be great.
put in tree costumes and do all that stuff?
Victoria, are you interested? You're right next to me. We live right next to each other, so literally a stone's throw away.
there?
All right, shall we move on?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 8, committee concerns, initiatives, future agenda items, and closing comments. Shall we start with Shelley?
I think we already have our future agenda items going, so I think I'm good. Thank you. At the end of summer, beginning of fall, people.
Jim?
Just good meeting, a lot of good topics tonight. Kudos to your team, Jonah. Great photos, great things going on out there. I love that you're doing some cost savings and yet coming up with really neat, clearly good for everyone projects there. So, yeah, thank you.
I've talked enough.
Which one?
Sorry I was late. Great meeting. Jonah, I don't like going this long without talking to you. So I am definitely opposed to skipping next meeting because I like hearing all the cool things you're doing.
I think we have to do the next meeting. We have, we have a few guest speakers next time.
All right, just making sure.
Robbie?
The only thing to note is that I was really impressed with the parking revenue from Glen Auto. That's like nothing to scoff at. That's a really size, especially like when we talk about the budget that was given for the like that trail repair that you just did. To clarify that, like whatever number was 13,000, was that, it said, gross, was that over the whole summer?
That was net. Gross was 17,000, I think, or something, yeah, so.
That was over the whole summer?
Not the whole summer, since we started, I believe it was it July 8th?
Okay, so that was just the time spanning, and yeah, that's what I meant. That's a really impressive number that we can do a lot with, so.
And that's not even every day of the week, that's just 3 days a week.
That's what I was about to say. Imagine if they hadn't, pivoted at the last second and what that number would have been.
The missing piece of the puzzle there is enforcement. So if we, you will see more revenue with the enforcement being done in earnest. So that is a whole other agenda item topic. But yeah, that's if we want to expand the revenue numbers, then we also we are going to have to be also paying for an enforcement solution. But that's something that the city that Parks needs in general, right? Whether you're talking about off-leash dogs or open containers or any of that stuff. Yeah.
Loud music.
Loud music.
That's been brought up to us here, so.
So I feel like that is just one part of a bigger picture where there's, I would like to see us going to a full-time park ranger position that is taking care of all of these low-level enforcement things.
And is there any approval needed to spray paint eagles on Chalk Trail?
Probably, yeah, okay, so if you guys wanna get serious about really doing that, then you shouldn't do it with spray paint, and it should be done with thermoplastic, that'll hold up, so if we, and then also that'll tell everybody else that you can't just go out there and stencil whatever you want with spray paint, that this looks clean, it looks official, it is sanctioned.
Hey, you've convinced me, okay? What
Thermoplastic paint is, is not as expensive as a giant sculpture or something.
Just, has anybody else seen what I'm talking about? I know Frank does. Does anybody else?
I think, this is Tiffany, seeing it is one thing and knowing it's cool. Knowing what it means
Yes.
is like the next step that it needs. So some sort of way to say it's a mile marker, because we saw them too, and I was looking at my watch going, I think it means we've gone this far, but I wasn't sure, so it would be
That's a good
really
idea.
cool if there was something underneath of it that said 1 mile.
Silhouette of an eagle with a 0.5 cutout.
Yeah.
So people would have an idea of what they
That is a
stand for.
really good idea. Yeah, I love the distance association, but that would be cool. I want to pursue that because I just got so much little joy every time I found one, and I'd yell, "There's another eagle!" It was a good one.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you.
Really?
I got nothing, thanks.
Tristan, okay, yes. Tristan.
I just want to say thank you for a place at the table. I really excited to be here, and I really liked how this meeting went. And I totally agree with a full-time ranger position from the community. I think that you're gonna get better compliance with somebody who knows the faces of the community, and just from having a kid growing up in the city, I think that's what I would like to see as a father, and I think that's what my kid would love to see as he gets older, so.
good.
Sorry, Victoria. Woodrow's talking to me. It's
They're
his fault.
having a
I blame him.
conference.
Apologize.
You don't have anything to add? Okay, was there
If
anybody
I may,
online?
just for next month,
One more guy that, we should recognize our alternate that's in the audience.
Did you want to add anything today? No? All right,
As far as next month goes, I was planning on inviting Winnie and Megan from Friends of Trees to discuss our Valentine's Day planting event plans. And certainly the very rough preliminary plan was to have that include a few trees planted at Sunrise Park. And given that that has, been such a hot topic since that was mentioned, I just want to start that conversation by saying the original idea to plant some trees at Sunrise Park was coming from Sunrise Park users saying that it was just blazing hot out there in peak summer, and could you please plant some trees to provide a little bit of shade out there. That being said, if the consensus is that that is not something that the community wants, then that's not something that we'll do.
Jonah, can I say something? You don't think I should say anything? Frank and I had discussed being at Sunrise Park and maybe having an aerial map and dots available for users to place on the map of where they would like to see trees. And I think that's a great, like a visual picture for the community, the people who live around the park, to see what the people that are using the park think. And maybe there's a section on that map that says no trees, and they can put a polka dot there. And so we could get a better number of people who actually want the trees versus who don't want the trees, and bring in the people from the neighborhood, the people like you guys. And because I think that they're thinking we're gonna fill this whole park with trees, and I think you're thinking maybe 5.
Yeah, I'm talking about I'm talking about.
Like a very small amount. We don't wanna fill the park with trees.
We can't afford to fill the park with trees. I guess I guess the other context about this that I wanna, people maybe don't know this. Sunrise Park is on top of a landfill. It is not pristine wilderness. It's not a nature, it's a beautiful meadow space, and that's what it's become. And that's fantastic. But everything that you see there, nothing that you see there is natural.
Right.
So
I don't know if this is true or not, but the lower part I was told was like it's too swampy to plant trees.
Probably a lot of them and part of the reason why it is so swampy is because it's a landfill. There's 5 feet of soil. And so when the soil gets saturated, when it's been raining for a long time, all that water goes downhill and sits on top of the impermeable barrier that's underneath all that dirt. So anyway, we'll talk more about it, but I want you both and all of the Sunrise neighbors to know that I am not here to cram some trees that you don't want down your throat. That's not what I'm doing.
A long way off too. It's not around the corner, so.
And my question real quick, is it okay, real fast?
Yeah.
Okay, would be just that if there is discussion about it, to put on any type of discussion that the option of no trees, so that is included for people that don't want to.
Absolutely. And also, and the other part of this that maybe people aren't aware of is that I'm planning on removing some of the large cottonwood trees that are around the pond. They are, cottonwoods are the trees that cause us the most problems around the city. I think that those are the ones that people look at and say, more of those, and my view is gonna be blocked. But what I'm talking about here are some very slow growing, trees that probably wouldn't get much higher than this ceiling, right? So anyway, but if that's not something people want, then we're not gonna do it. So.
Okay, I just wanted to say thank you, Jonah, to you and your team for everything that you guys have done this summer. The parks all look good to me. I would like to see the window replaced on the little library at Kiku Park. There's no window on it. I went by and I took measurements. I don't know how to do it though. And it sounds like you have a guy that's really good at that. it's just open to the elements right now, that one is. And so it just needs like a piece of plastic or a new frame put on it, and it would be, we've got the rain coming. I think it's been a great summer. She's already gone, but Deb's done such a good job. And thank you so much for getting the irrigation in. I do wonder why the ditch never got filled in though. Is there a reason why we?
Still not filled in?
It's not, and it's kind of an ankle breaker when you
Yeah, that's
walk
terrible.
across it. And I also worry about the lawnmower running into it. And so
I didn't know
I'm
that.
curious about that ditch and whether it could get filled in, or I thought maybe it's not being filled in for a reason.
No, it should have been done yesterday.
So,
Yeah, sorry.
Probably because there's no one in the park.
but the water is great. It's wonderful that there's water, and the green space is growing and people are like sitting really close to it because it's nice and soft. I wonder if in the future we could have a larger green space at Sunrise where we have maybe go off those irrigation lines and the upper part could just be green, so you'd be more willing to sit in that area and picnic, because just a little bit of water transforms it into something that's gorgeous. I love it when this time of year comes, it goes from being all dead to it just gets bright green with just the few rains we get, and it's gorgeous to watch it green up. And then I actually participated in 2 movies in the park this summer and had a tabling event for Parks Advisory Committee. It wasn't super busy. There were a good amount of people at the movie, but a lot of them are coming from outside of Troutdale. And so at the table, I just had information about the Parks Advisory Committee. This was the binder that I talked about creating, and it has information about all of our parks. It's basically all the information that's on the website, as well as pictures of things like the stairways that go down into the Beaver Creek Canyon that you can access off of Weedon. Oh, it's like there's so many secret passages and secret entryways that nobody knows about. And so I was able to show people pictures and show people maps and tell them how to get to some of those places. I met a lot of people, had a lot of great conversation. I shared about programs that Parks has going around. I don't know about you guys, but I would love to hear from Molly after summertime is over about how all her programs went, because I think a lot of them were really successful. And so I would love to hear her. She did that last year, and I would love to hear that again this year about how those programs went. I would also love to hear from Marley about the PACER program, about people that are using our parks, if that's possible at all. If she can tell us the numbers that are going through our parks of like, I don't know if that's possible for all the parks or specifically Sunrise Park, to give us an idea of how much it's being used.
You know, I could try to set that up for the November meeting.
Got a lot of stuff
I'm gonna be out of town the 3rd week of November, so, but rather than cancel the meeting simply because I'm not here, perhaps I could just schedule, some presentations from Molly and Marley and a few other people.
That would be wonderful. But I've had fun doing that, and I created a spinning wheel that had questions about Troutdale and questions about the parks. It's always fun to ask somebody, do you know where Columbia Park is? And they're at Columbia Park, but they don't know it's called Columbia Park, because they think it's Imagination Station. So that's been fun. I'm also looking forward to, you emailed me about it, I don't know if you guys we're gonna do the Halloween party at the dog park again this year. I think tentatively we're talking about the Sunday before Halloween and not Saturday, because Saturday has conflicts with Wood Village's Halloween party, and there's other things happening, and farmers markets, we want to get dog vendors and animal people into the park, and so I think we're gonna aim for Sunday. I don't think it's been confirmed yet, but that's what they're looking at, is the Sunday before Halloween. So if anybody is interested in being a judge for that, I think we're gonna do a little costume contest like we've done the last 2 years in a row. I don't know that I will participate with my dog Bob this year, so I think I would love to judge this year. They tried to get me to do it last year, but I really wanted to participate, so.
When is that again?
The Sunday before Halloween. I wanna say it's the 26th, but don't quote me on that until I look at the calendar. So hopefully, everything goes through and that actually, we get information about that out soon. We're still on.
26th.
It is the 26th, was I right? Yeah, so it would be, and I think the time frame was, that I suggested today was noon to 2. Give people time to get home from Sunday morning gatherings and then costume contest at 1:30, just a 2-hour event. So, yeah, it's really fun to see all the dogs dressed up. So that's all I have to say for today. I guess we can move on to, it sounds like we're having our meeting next month, correct?
We better, he arranged it.
We gotta vote on it. Go on.
Hold or cancel next month's meeting? I think we're holding it. All in favor? Aye. All right, and now we adjourn, right?
I make a motion to adjourn now, is that what we do?
Yes. I second. Can I second? Am I allowed? All right, that's it for tonight. Thank you guys for coming.